Welcome back to Bible News. On today's segment, we have Mary here with us. We have some questions for her. People want to know some things. Let's see if she's here with us. Mary? Mary, are you with us?
Okay, yeah. I can hear you. I can hear you great.
Awesome, Mary. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We have a few questions the people want to know. We'll start off with the first question that I think is the highest topic right now. You were told by an angel that you were going to have a son, not just any son, but the Son of God. How was that? How did you feel in that moment?
Well, you have to remember, I was only 16 at the time. So, and engaged, I was betrothed to Joseph, my dream. And I just remember being asleep one night and this bright light, like, first of all, angels, they can be pretty scary, which is why he said, fear not, you know, um, the wings and it's not no beautiful formation. Some angels have eyes on their wings and they just look very frightening. But he said to fear not, and that the Lord was pleased in me, that I was blessed among women. Uh, I'm just so gracious that he decided that he would choose little old me to, carry out the Son of God. I don't know anything about babies or children, but the fact that he blessed my womb. Then on the other end, I'm a virgin. I've never been with a man before. So it's a little scary thinking about that. Like, how am I going to tell Joseph that I'm pregnant, but I never, you know, did the do? Uh, but it's not his kid either, but it's the Son of God. It's a mixture of a lot of different things, but the Lord helped me through it.
Wow. I know that was quite an amazing thing to experience. So, our next question is more so about raising Jesus, raising the Son of God. How was that for you? We had some people, we have our resources that were able to tell us of an instance where you guys attended the festival of the Passover every year. And this particular year, going home, Jesus was nowhere to be found. How was that? I believe it said it was it 1 day, 2 day, maybe 3 days before you realized? How was that?
Well, first and foremost, he was such a ball of sunshine. Um, Especially when he was a baby. Of course, he did his crying like any other baby did and everything. But yeah, even growing up when he was a toddler, I still had to teach him, how to potty train, how to use the bathroom. Of course, at a certain point, Joseph took over with that part, but he did like any other kid, I had to let him know like, hey, certain things you can't touch. Hey, sit down. You have to listen to, your mother and your daddy. Um, just things of that nature. So the time that you're referring to, he was about, I want to say about a good old 12 years old. But yes, we went uh with our family and everything. So the way our family is set up, sometimes he'll be with us, sometimes he'll be with his cousins, his aunts and uncles, and different things of that nature, other relatives. And we went to the temple and everything, and I don't know, it was such a long journey back. We just kind of assumed he was with his favorite cousins and everything. John, I think they later on they call him John the Baptist. We just assumed he was probably around with him or something like that, or with his cousin Elizabeth or something. But it wasn't until probably, yeah, like a few days later, uh, I realized we haven't spoken to our son in a minute. We go a couple of wagons back to see if he was with, the other relatives. And we realized ain't nobody seen our son. We didn't know what to think. I'm like, man, Lord, you blessed me with the Son of God, and I done lost him. I done lost this little kid. Well, he wasn't really little. He's probably about like 5'5". He's a little bit taller than me. But we ended up heading back to the temple, and he was sitting there with the other religious leaders. And it was interesting because usually kids sit and listen to the leaders, but the leaders were sitting listening to the kid. And I will never forget this moment. I, I will never forget this moment. I remember I grabbed him. It was like, Jesus, where were you? How could you not tell us that you was here? We were worried for you. And he said something. He was like, did you not think or did you not know in that minute, like I'll be about my father's business? And it was that time that I realized, yes, I physically carry Jesus, but he is not my physical son, but he is the Son of God here for an assignment. And that no matter what assignments I want him to do, he's going to do his true father's assignments. And yeah, yeah.
Wow. I could only imagine how anxious and worried you may have been in that time. And the whole time he was at his father's house, he was at God's house. That is quite amazing. Another question that were brought up amongst the people, as we all know, Jesus was not an ordinary man, although looking at him, he may have seemed like one. He was known to do miracles of all sorts. How was it seeing Jesus perform his first miracle?
Well, I already knew, like you said, there was something about him because I knew that he was the Son of God. And I remember when the people started, getting a little worried because we had ran out of wine. And, us at a party, we love to drink. And I remember we ran out of wine. And so I remember, somebody come and let me know. And I just went to my son because I just knew deep down like he could handle it. So I was like, we're out of wine. And he was just like, it's not my time. But I truly believe because he had loved me that he moved and did his first miracle then. So I told the people, like, whatever he tells you to do it. So yeah, I told him whatever he told him to do it. And he gave them instructions about, some water, some different things. And they tested it and they said it was the best tasting wine I'd ever tasted, and I was so proud of my boy. I was so proud of him. But that's when I knew like his journey has shifted was when he did that.
Mary, so I know being the parent, being the mother of Jesus was something that was probably unimaginable for you. And he was just, I mean, don't get me wrong, every kid is, but he was a different type of special. You may have known things about him or seen things that made you be anxious or worried just a little bit more. What advice could you give other parents out here who, even though may not experience the same exact thing, but may be experiencing somewhat of how you felt raising a child?
You know, I think we just had to remember we don't own our kids. They're not ours. They were they were given to us by God, and he knows them best. So he knows their quirks, their personalities. He knows their assignment and what they're called to do. And we can sometimes easily put our own selfishness, our own will and desires and say, well, you're going to do this and that because we're trying to fill in our little voids. Um, but we just really have to make sure we communicate back with the Father. You know, Lord, you gave me this son or this daughter. What do you want me to do with them? Besides teach them your word and to live a life that's pleasing to you, you know, like what are they called to do? Like show me their gifts and their talents and help me to push them to where you want them to go, not where I want them to go. You know, a lot of kids, you know, they go uh, to the temple to learn different things and to become leaders. You know, his father, you know, earthly father is a carpenter. You know, so part sometimes we're really focused on, you know, him learning the carpentry skill and we're just like, oh, he's gonna be a carpenter. But then every now and then I'll look at him and get a twinkle in his eye. I'll just see it and I remember he's not called to be a carpenter, but to be the savior of the world. Sometimes we need that reminder of what is it that God is asking our kids to be. And that's where we should push them to.
What a powerful message that was, Mary. And I hope the audience today, I hope you could receive that. Mary, is there anything else you would like to leave with us before we leave today?
No, I'm just so thrilled and happy that you want to be, you know, interview me, little old me. But yeah,
It wouldn't have been right if we did not interview you, Mary. Thank you again for your time. We'll chat with you soon.